The force of the water coming down through here is just absolutely exhilarating. If you're anything like me at the moment, you're rushing around trying to capture the last of that autumn colour. I'm still here in Perthshire. We had strong winds last night, a lot of rain, but thankfully we've still got a lot of colour left in the trees, and you can just hear the force of the water coming down through the river here. It really is incredible. I'm just sort of surrounded by that pounding as the falls come down through the rocks here. But I'm really excited just to get those last splashes of colour before the winds come in and take them all away. Let's go see if we can find some images. Now, while I'm out today, one of the things I wanted to do was try out this ANDYCINE field monitor that they kindly sent to me. If you saw the vlog a while back, I was trying out their T6 monitor and had lots of frustrations with it. It was a great bit of kit, but everything was manual and it was very hard to use and not very bright on the screen. I was able to use the LCD screen on the camera so much better. But this is the X5. It's slightly smaller. It's 5.5 inches as opposed to the T6, which is 6 inches, but it's so much brighter. It's probably 3 times brighter than the actual T6 monitor itself. And the menus, it's touch screen, and it really is a game changer. What I'm looking at on both the LCD and the monitor are incredibly close in color and light, which is obviously some of the frustrations that I had with the original T6. So let me just show you the composition I've got set up here. We've got this majestic pine reaching up on the left-hand side with a young one just behind it. I like the way this sort of rock on my bottom left here just really sort of fills that space. But the main focus of this image is this stunning dark beech tree that we've got with the splash of color there. I'm just using the polarizer just to knock back a little bit of reflection in the leaves there. But then we've got this patch of light. If you saw the last episode of the vlog where we were out photographing silver birches in woodland, I was talking about how we leave some space around our image to let that light through and let the eye wander through. And that's what we've got here on our right-hand side. We've got this soft light coming through, that wonderful golden colour of autumn behind, and then just leading the eye through the image. What a stunning scene, and what a stunning day to be out. Here's the image. As I was saying earlier, what I'm really enjoying about this monitor is the touch screen, which we didn't have before. Let me just bring up the menu here. So this is so easy, so much easier to access. If I want a nice grid brought up on my screen, I can click marker, set up grids. Let's put a 3x3 on there, and there we are. There's my grid. And it's so much easier to use than trying to faff around with the menus going backwards and forwards. I guess it's preference, but for me, I don't want to be flapping. I just want it nice and simple to use, and this really is. The image is so much sharper, so much brighter, and yeah, gotta say, I'm enjoying using it today. Now, it's incredibly tricky getting out across to this position. This rock is incredibly slippery, but what a beautiful scene in front of me. Now, I'm not so keen on this big rock on my left-hand side here. Let me just show you what I'm looking at on the back of the camera. Now, you can see we've got this rock on the left-hand side. Now, what I've done is I've come across as far as I can to position it just so that we've got some water just coming through there on my left-hand side between that rock and the bank, just to separate it a little bit. But I've got to say, it's quite an intrusive rock, but it's a beautiful scene behind, so I really do want to sort of capture it, you know, that soft colour. And again, we've got the mist coming up from the water, which is really softening the backdrop there. There's some more falls up behind, which you can just about see, but won't be very prominent in the image. But this autumn colour on the backdrop with that mist is just absolutely beautiful. So what I'm trying to do is shoot for around about 1/6 of a second, just to really sort of slow that water down a little bit, but still making sure that there's some texture in there. And I may actually crop this. I'm not sure yet. I'll know when I get back on the computer. I may just sort of crop out that bottom area. I think it might just be too much, but again, I think I'll include as much as I can in the composition and then decide when I get back later. So I'm shooting on around about as I said earlier, I'm shooting on around about 1/6 of a second, ISO 100. I've got a polarizer on there just to knock back some of that sort of reflection off the wet leaves. And but it's yeah, a really sort of soft, gentle image. There's not a lot of light coming through there, but just enough. If I bring the camera up any higher, you can see we start to introduce the sky there, which I really don't want. So I've just brought it down just enough as well, just to get some water under that large rock on the left. But yeah, anyway, enough of my waffling. Here's the image. Okay, now this is a shot that I've taken before, just coming along the path here, looking back at this beautiful beach in all of its colour. Now, I don't think you should ever be put off. If you've taken a picture before, it doesn't matter. There's always room for improvement. And also, it's always changing conditions, you know. I think the last time I took this shot, I took a portrait shot, and this time I'm going to take a landscape. But the way that light's just coming in on the left-hand side there, which is really sort of punching up the colour of the leaves. And I've got to say, I'm really enjoying using this little wee monitor. It's so quick and easy to use. It's like almost starting to feel like part of the camera now. And that bright screen, what an improvement. So yeah, absolutely enjoying it. Now, what I've done is I've positioned this tree over to my left-hand side, just so that we've got this patch of light coming through, and then we've got this network of branches coming off onto the right. They're all covered in moss, which is giving it that real sort of deep, dark colour. But then when the light's hitting it, it's really sort of punching out some of those greens. We've got all of the fallen leaves on the ground there, which add an extra splash of copper colour through the path there. And wow, what a breathtaking scene that is. That really sums up autumn at its best. And these beech trees at this time of the year are just stunning. So we'll get this shot. Here's the image. Now I'm shooting on a 24 to 70mm lens. I've got a polarizer on there just to knock back some of that glare. Now my ISO's at around about 64, which is giving me a really long exposure, around about 5 seconds, but it doesn't matter because there is not a drop of wind. There is no movement in those leaves whatsoever. So I'm really able to take advantage of those longer shutter speeds. So now that I've got the shot, what I'm going to do is head on down to the main falls, and what I'm hoping is that there's going to be some of this mist coming up from the water, looking back across the bridge and capturing that autumn colour, and just listening to that water coming down. I think it's going to be quite dramatic. Now I've just managed to get down into this great position looking out across the bridge. Now because we're so nice and early this morning, it's there's nobody there, which is absolutely fantastic. So what I'm trying to do is set up a composition. It's very tricky obviously where I am. I'm in a safe position, but you know, got to be really careful. Now I don't know if you can see in the shot there, but there's these two trees that come down just in front of me. And I'm trying a couple of different compositions. One, I'm including those trees coming across the front, capturing that cascading water that's absolutely coming down in full force after the rains last night. So I'm taking a shot with the trees running along the front there, and then I'm just zooming in slightly so that I miss those out, and I've just got the rocks there. The only problem with that is I don't get all of that beautiful colour in the trees on my left-hand side. So it's going to be a sort of a toss-up between the two, whether I prefer the further back shot, capturing some of that colour on the left-hand side, or a little bit closer and missing those trees off. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'll get the shot and I'll put both up now and let me know, which one do you prefer? The one with the trees on the front or zoomed in a little bit further? Let me know. Of the water coming down through here, it's just absolutely exhilarating. You can really feel that force coming down, the water cascading. It's really sort of strong on the ears and sort of leaves you a little bit unsettled standing here. But what I'm really loving about this shot is that all the mist from this water is coming up and it's almost looking like fog. So those trees behind are in a shroud of mist that is cascading up from the falls and is really giving me a soft, gentle, almost ethereal type image, almost as if we'd had low-lying mist in the backdrop there. And we've got a splash of light coming through as well. What a location. I mean, it's been so much rain in the night, you can just see how much has fallen. And as I said earlier, we're definitely on that sort of point where we only need a couple of gusts of wind through the night and these leaves are going to be gone. So what a time to capture it. Not a soul around either. Anyway, let me carry on getting these shots. So that's it for this episode of the vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to head on out and make the most of that autumn colour. But the light's just changing, the rain's just starting to come in. So I think we've had the best of the morning. I'm just starting to see a few more people around as well. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe. If you didn't see the last episode, we were out in the silver birch woodland with mist and some dramatic light. Please don't forget to watch that. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you're interested in the ANDYCINE field monitor, the X5, I'll leave a link for that as well. Gotta say, game changer, that touch monitor screen, and it being so much brighter has made it a real pleasure to use. I think that's it. Look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.